All right. So sorry it's been a few days since I've gotten back in. Let's start with the Rangers series. On Friday, they really looked rough to start out the game. We gave up a lot of runs very quickly. We were out of the game very quickly. Um, but we came back and got to 12-8 as a final score. I think we scored 8, 9, and 8 in the series, which is very respectable. At that point, I put the rest on the pitching staff and the defense to not commit errors, but errors, errors. but the Astros did pull it out and win the second two games of the series. So they're leading the Rangers um, 4 games to 3, and that's four of the Astros' 6 wins is against the Rangers. So I like that. I would like us to have more wins. Obviously, I think we all would, but I was excited to see us, topple over the Rangers, even if it's by 1 game for the series so far, and to win the series at home against the Rangers, where we couldn't pick up one win in a couple games in the ALCS last year, and we would have won the World Series most likely. Woulda, coulda, shoulda, right? But it was nice to see that difference that the Astros are hungry, and even in the game that they were blown out, people were like, "Well, they still lost. They still lost," and I'm like, "Dude, they tried up to the end, up through the ninth inning. I like to see the effort." What I don't want to see is the Astros completely out of the game where there's not effort. We're putting in all the backups. We got a position player like Kessinger throwing, where we're just like, hey, over's over. Let's not waste the bullpen. You're going to have those games, and I'm glad that we're not going to waste arms. But the hitters didn't give up. And I was really happy to see that, even though we lost. I'd rather lose 12-8 than 12-4. And then the next 2 games were ours. And you guys got to think about something. Blanco is half of our wins this year. Half. In 3 games, he's given up 2 runs and had 3 quality starts. Valdez can't say that. Javier can't say that. And the other guys can't say that. So, when I'm hearing some other commentators on the Astros talk about how Blanco's like good for now, I'm like, dude, you ride that until it stops. Until he starts getting regularly blown up in the first 2 or 3 innings, like some of our other replacements right now. I mean, he should be in the starting rotation going forward with no expectation to take him out and just plan on continuing to thank him and continuing to go forward. That's what should be happening with Blanco right now. I'm surprised every time I hear the talk of, oh, Blanco's not the answer. It's like, dude, Montero was the man a couple years ago. The man. That's why he got that huge contract. Okay, now I'm not saying give Blanco a huge contract, but I'm saying somebody could be the man this year that you didn't expect. Right now, it's not Hader. He looked really bad in last night's game. Arrighetti only gave up 2 runs. He gave up another 2, loaded the bases, and barely got an out. You know, it's pretty expensive out for how much we're paying him. Now, I'm rooting for Hader. I want him to do better. I think we all do. I don't think that he's going to stay where he's at right now as far as his production goes. I think he's a little frustrated that he's not getting more save opportunities. The whole team's got to be a little bit frustrated that they're not winning. But I think I'm pretty confident he's going to turn it around. You know, we have an owner who spent the money, and we can't complain about him spending the money. Everyone was excited when we got Hader. I was excited when we got Hader. I don't think this is all we're going to see from Hader. I don't think Montero is going to continue to outproduce him. I think the water's going to find its level. We keep hearing that from multiple commentators on the Astros, and I agree with it. The Astros just have to keep putting in the work. Espada's got to keep tweaking things, and I admire that Espada keeps changing up the lineup. He's not just like, okay, here's the lineup, it's going to work. I put it together for a reason. He's like, hey, it's not working. Bregman's doing better. He had a couple hits last night in our loss to the Braves, but and an RBI. He had a couple of solid doubles before he got sick for the weekend in the Rangers series. But it's a little hard to watch him batting cleanup. It's a little hard to see Jordan batting second. He's doing so great. I'd love to see Pena with that great batting average hitting second, with Jordan coming up right after him. And now he's got Altuve and Pena, or at least one of them on base. And then he's getting 4 hits that game, you know? But instead, we have Abreu coming up with people on base. We have Singletary, or Singletary. I'm always going to call him Singletary, by the way. Singleton coming up with the bases loaded twice. And I'm not against any of these guys, but it's just not ideal. I love that when Bregman was out, Yiner was hitting in the cleanup spot. He's doing really well. I think riding the hot hands and moving people up and down in the lineup while they get out of slumps, or even giving them a day or two off, is ideal. It's 160 plus games right now. It's okay to give them a day or two off when they're doing bad. When they're doing great, don't take them out of the game. Leave them in there. If you're doing an outfield rotation and Myers or McCormick start just nailing the ball, Dubon, and there's nowhere in the infield for him to play that day, if he's hot, keep him in there. Be like, yeah, we're committed to you as an outfielder, as a starter, but we're trying to ride that hot-handed Dubon right now. He's getting on base. He's scoring runners. He's at least getting a ground ball to second base when there's a runner at third, and he's scoring the run, even if he's getting out. He's not just popping up or striking out. I do see Abreu's average going up. He did have a 2-hit game. I've heard a lot of people just still being negative even after his 2-hit game. And I was like, he doubled his batting average, guys. He doubled it. He's accepting the days off. He's hitting the batting cages. Bagwell's watching him hit. He's taking advice from Bagwell. And not that he honestly would even need to, but he's open to it. He's open to improving. He's not just saying like, hey, this is what you got for $18 million a year. Deal with it. I'm going to just ride this into the dirt. He's trying to get better. And some of that is getting back to the basics, just making good contact with the ball and getting a single, getting a double. What do you want from him? Like he's going to turn around and hit 10 home runs this month? It's not going to happen. You got to let him just get going, get his confidence up. I'll take him not striking out. I'll take him not popping up. I'd like a deep fly ball to score a run or move somebody over from second to third. I'd like to see him move someone to third by doing a grounder to short. How about just not a strikeout? I was encouraged by these base hits. You guys gotta give him something. I mean, if he's I'd take Abreu batting 260 with singles and doubles all season and no home runs over what we're getting today, which is also no home runs, but people want to see him bang up and get a bunch of home runs. I'm like, guys, that's not what we're going to see. And for people who really want to see Bregman get re-signed to some 8-year deal, I'm like, that's what you're going to be looking at the end of it. 7, 8, years down the road, paying a guy $30 million for exactly what we're paying Abreu for $18 million. That's what we're going to be seeing. And what are you seeing from Bregman right now that you really want to sign him to some fat long-term deal? I mean, if he wants $18 million, if he wants $20 million, $21 million, okay, yeah, keep him around. But, I mean, I don't want to give him Altuve money. He's not Altuve. He's not an 8-time All-Star. He's not batting in the mid-300s right now, up there in the top 10 in home runs for Major League Baseball. And we're talking about right now. We're talking about 18 games. I know as the season goes, things are going to get better, but look at the last 3 years. That's the statistical line that you want to pay that kind of money to. I think you're insane. I do. But I'll digress off that because I didn't get on here to bag on Bregman. I hope good things for every single Astro we have, everybody in AAA, AA. I think that It can only get better. We're one of the bottom 5, 6 teams in the Major League Baseball right now. But who wasn't afraid about our starting pitchers coming into this? Where, you know, Henley's our backup option at this point. Eric Getty's our backup option at this point. And he had a good outing, gave up 2 runs. I mean, what did he get? 4 or 5 innings? It's better than, two. Um, and I think he has some really good stuff. I think he's the pitcher that when Verlander comes back in a week or so, I'd like to see him move to the bullpen and be your, fourth or fifth inning guy when Javier's struggling. You know, just give him 1 inning every game. Because think about it, if he's used to pitching 6 innings as a starter, you can pitch him 5 innings in a week, 4 innings in a week. And I know the stretching is different and the rest is different, but you're also pitching less. I think that he could give you a good inning, maybe eventually two, to take care of some of these starters when they start to struggle in the fourth or fifth inning. And say, like, look, we don't want to lose this game. We're not just going to let you throw it away, literally. Let's bring in Eric Getty, different pitcher. You're going to see different stuff from him. It's going to take at least once through the rotation for them to get used to him, hopefully. I think the same thing for Hunter Brown, if I'm being honest. When Valdez comes back, you're not sending down Blanco. Hunter Brown, he's had 2 rough outings. I think he could give you a couple of innings. I think he could be that middle reliever that we lost in Stanek and Maton and Neres. I think he could come in and be that guy that gets you some outs when you need them. We have, outside of Blanco and Javier right now, the other 3 guys are probably moving to middle relief or down to AAA. It's probably going to happen. You got to think, you're getting Verlander back. You're getting Valdez back. You're getting Urquidy back. And that's just through May. That's 3 starters. Now, you might say, like, oh man, I don't know about Urquidy. I do. Urquidy's solid, especially, like, have you seen how our starters have pitched so far this season? I'll take some Urquidy all day. If Urquidy's your 5th or 6th pitcher, that's better than probably 90% of baseball. Okay? So that's just who's coming back in the next month or so. Month, 2 months at the most. Hopefully we're getting those 3 guys back. And by then, I think Abreu's either found his level on water, which I really hope he does, guys. I'm rooting for him. Or a mixture between him, Singleton, maybe Dubon. Don't forget Caratini. We overpaid him as a backup catcher. We did. Because he also plays first base. And I've heard some people say he's not your everyday first base solution. And I'm like, okay, no, I don't think he is. But, when the dam's broke and water's pouring out and we're one of the bottom 5 teams and we got a guy who was batting below the legal drinking percentage, 0.08, just a week ago, maybe you stop the water, you stop the bleeding, you bandage up the cut, and you just say, like, let's just get to a good spot here before we can heal up and rehab and stuff. We're not looking for a permanent solution right now. We're looking to win a couple games in the end of April and May. Caratini can play some first base. That's why we overpaid him. Okay? It's okay to give Abreu some days off. I think Espada's done a good job in giving him some time off and letting him hit the batting cages and work on his swing and then get in a couple games and see how it's going. I think that's what you got to see with anybody struggling. I'd love to see him get around 260, 268, singles and doubles all day. Would love to see it. He was an RBI machine at the end of last year. I would take the Abreu from last year right now all day. Remember that when the Astros were signing him, he was coming off being like a 302 hitter or something. They didn't pick up this guy and overpay him and just know he was going to do this. He's got a hole in his swing. He's trying to hit the ball out of the ballpark. He's just not that guy anymore. And you got to get the best version of what he is today. All right, so stay on board. We're going to be okay. I didn't mean for this to go this long. I wanted to get into some other things with our offense and defense and relief pitchers and whatnot. But this is when we want to see the slumping. Is right now, find our way at the beginning of the season, and as our guys get healthy, as our pitching staff gets healthy, we're going to see things turn around. Not just because the guys are coming back, but we're going to get Bregman's coming out of that slump earlier than normal. By the way, he used to do this for 2-3 months. We're not even out of April. We're halfway through April. And he's starting to show signs of coming out of his slump. Like, this is what he does. He spends a third of the season like this, and he's already showing signs of stopping that early. I'm loving that. It's not all doom and gloom. We were crying for Yarner Diaz to be our catcher last year, wishing that we didn't have Maldonado in there as our easy out. Well, Abreu's the easy out right now, or Singleton. Wanted to pull my hair out when he played Singleton and Abreu in the same game. Don't know what that was about. Don't do that again. Please don't do that again. Jordan's got to be a DH in that situation. We need Myers and McCormick playing. I know McCormick had the hamstring thing, but we have other guys who are hitting the ball. We don't need to see Abreu and Singleton in the same lineup ever. If we get there, bring up Loperfido for a series. I'm not kidding. Bring him up for a series. Let some other people, let Abreu DH, put Singleton on the bench. He has options to move him up and down some. If he's going to play a whole series, yeah, bring him up, use an option if you want to send him back down. Anyway, I've got to cut this off. It's gone a lot longer than I'd planned. I've put the geese to sleep here, as you can see. But thanks for watching up to this point if you are, and I'll keep throwing these out and hopefully have some encouraging perspectives.